So Shinobi Striker just released their next Elder Kage DLC Jutsu for the defense types, and we got none other than the Magnet Style Gold Dust Great Burial from Rasa, Gaara's dad. This jutsu pretty much hits all the points that you'd want for a defense type. It allows a little bit of mobility with the wall, and it does the things that it's supposed to do. But that's going to lead us into our anime question. How are you feeling about the jutsu so far? But yeah, in today's video we're basically going to be breaking it down, giving you some of the strengths, and on this channel we give you the weak points and the counters for this jutsu as well, and giving y'all a final grade at the end and letting you know, if this is really worth using. But if this is something you think you might be interested in, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell, do all those nice things, and we have the timestamps in the description so you can go to certain parts of the video that you want to see. But let's go ahead and hop straight into this breakdown. And before we get into the counters in the video, I just want to give a big shout out to the man Kid Mike and also I Bust Sweats for helping me test out this jutsu, man. This video wouldn't have been possible without them. But let's go ahead and hop straight into this video. Okay, so when we actually talk about this jutsu, let's go ahead and look at the description. So it's basically the Magnet Style Gold Dust Great Burial. That is the last time you're going to hear me say it like that. From now on, I'm going to call it the Magnet Wall. So, when we look at the description of the Magnet Wall, basically what it says, you're basically going to put up a giant gold dust wall, and you're going to be able to deal damage when you summon it, and then also, with additional input, you can push the wall forward, and it can hit enemies, and whenever at the end of the jutsu, it'll explode. So, some things about this jutsu is that it's basically a giant wall, and it's also controllable. They don't say this in the description, but if you're moving the right stick and you're aiming it on your enemy, you can move it and cause this wall to actually twist and turn. It also locks subs whenever you're in the tumble animation. So when you're tumbling and the wall hits you, you can't sub out of it. So it's pretty crazy with the damage that you can do with this. This thing breaks guard. It has a pretty far range when I actually tested it out to see how far it goes. And the cooldown is insane with this thing only being 11. They're definitely going to boost the cooldown for this jutsu. I highly doubt they're going to keep it at 11 with the fact that, it stops you from subbing. So we look at some key points as well. Also, this thing has a wide range, and it moves a little bit faster than people can run, unless, you're going up to somebody that's a little bit skilled that can move around. The way that this can be stopped, though, it can be jumped over, and this thing can be self-activated. So what I'm basically saying is you can hold the hand signs and wait until you're ready to actually cast this wall, and it can be double casted, it seems like, with the potential, because if you jump and do the animation a certain way, the actual animation for summoning the wall won't work, and like I said, it has an explosion effect. So, when we look at some actual strengths of this jutsu, some strengths of this jutsu is, like I said, it's strong against barrier jutsu, weak projectiles, charging jutsu, and Susanoo armor. So, when we look at the barrier jutsus that this is actually pretty good against, we're talking about sand shield, water pillar, wood dome, and also mud wall. When we look at the weak projectiles, what I mean is basically anything that has a power of 2, so anything under 3 power. So, normal fireball jutsu, clay birds, water dragon, these jutsus are not going to be able to get through the wall. Also, charging jutsus, so things like Rasengan, scale fragment, dynamic entry. Even though some of these jutsus are armored, they're not going to break through the wall. But this thing does go through Susanoo armor, which is pretty good. It seems like they've been given a lot of jutsus that, break Susanoo armor. They've pretty much tried to nerf Susanoo armor into the ground. But as you know with these videos, we also have to give the weak points. And some of the weaknesses of this is going to be True Seeker Orb, Reinforcement Jutsu, projectiles that have a power of above 3 or at 3, unblockable melee jutsu, summonings, and also some trap jutsu. So we look at the True Seeker Orb. True Seeker Orb pretty much just cuts through this wall like butter, and you get to keep the orb, so that is a pretty good counter. Reinforcement, we're talking about rock and also Nido Jizo. These are going to cause the wall to disappear, and it's not going to break you out of these jutsus. 3 power projectile jutsu, it just kind of depends on what you're running, but when we tested it out, Majestic, Flame Control was able to phase through, but it didn't stop the wall. Lava Dissolving, Yasuka Beads, Rasen Shuriken, Rasengan Full Moon, Earth Dragon Bullet, these things like that are also going to be able to get through it. When we're talking about unblockable melee jutsu, we're basically talking about Rasen Rampage, Baryon Barrage, Spiked Boulder gets through, Vacuum Fist from Kage. But there are some exceptions whenever it comes to unblockable melee jutsu. So things like Heavenly Foot of Plane and Crimson Smash aren't going to work. Summonings do very well against this wall as well. So C4 Dragon, Snake, Toad, Slug, All of these were able to basically get rid of the wall completely. And trap jutsu with acrobat technique, palm rotation, Boruto stream. There is the exception of limbo border gel because this wall will go through limbo border gel. Time space jutsu as well, so Sukuna Hakona, Kamui Bond, Climax, and also Kamui Lightning Blade, and jutsus that allow you to phase through things. So there's a few jutsus in this game that have like weird reactions when it comes to certain jutsus, and that's like Particle Style, Scorching Flame, and Shigagami Dance Shield. All of these jutsus basically phase through any jutsu that's coming at it, so this is going to work for the wall. But all around, I mean, there's a lot of, weaknesses for this jutsu, but for the things that it's going to be going up against, the fact that you can control the way that it moves, that it deals damage, and really the fact that it stops people from subbing, this is almost immediately a base clear, and that's what, this jutsu achieves what it needs to achieve. So, like I said, this jutsu not being able to hand reinforcement jutsu limits its effectiveness on base battle, and True Secret Orb cuts through this thing like butter, but the speed of the jutsu and the amazing cooldown make this good enough. Easily the best wall now in Shinobi Striker. And saying all those things, we're going to have to give it a final grade of an A. I think this is a solid A-rank jutsu. And like I said, this is definitely the best wall they've given us in the game. And the fact that the cooldown is so good just makes this jutsu great. I do feel like they're going to nerf it and, probably move the cooldown a little bit up. But I still feel like this is a very viable option. And just the fact that they gave defense type something that can prevent you from subbing, the combos that you can put in with this wall are just pretty crazy. But let me know in the comments how y'all are feeling about this wall. And, what are you expecting for the next Elder Kage DLC jutsu? I don't believe they've announced what the next one's going to be. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. And we know that now that we got an Elder Kage DLC jutsu, the next DLC that we'll be getting is going to be Gaara. So I'm very excited to get that. But hey, let me know in the comments how y'all felt about this breakdown. And I'm going to see you on the next video, man. We up.